Hi Loopers, Melissa here with LoveableLoops.com. In this tutorial I'm going to show you guys step by step how to crochet a cardigan. I'm going to be demonstrating how to do this for size 0 3 months. If you would like to make a larger size, I will link to the pattern below on my blog. It is also available for sizes 3 6 months, 6 12 months, and 12 24 months. You're going to need an 8 5mm crochet hook and worsted weight yarn. And you're also going to need some stitch markers, scissors, and a tapestry needle. Okay, we're going to begin by making the collar of the cardigan first and then working our way down. So for the 0 3 months, go ahead and chain 58. Okay. All right, now in the third chain from the hook, so 1 2 3, you are going to double crochet, and then you're going to double crochet in each remaining chain. If you do not know how to double crochet, I have a tutorial for that on my channel. Don't forget to take a moment to subscribe to my channel. Now that it's after Labor Day and my kids are back in school, my goal is to bring you a new YouTube tutorial each week, as well as a new pattern on my blog each week. Sometimes they'll go together like they do this week. So for example, my free pattern for this week is this cardigan, but then sometimes they might be different things that I do. Alright, so row 1 is complete. You should have 56 double crochet. Okay, so now for row 2, the pattern is going to be 2 double crochet in the first stitch, 1 double crochet in the next, 2 double crochet in the next, 1. So the pattern is 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet. So go ahead and chain 2, and in that first stitch you're going to make 2 double crochet. And then in the next stitch you're going to make 1 double crochet. And then 2 double crochet. And then 1 double crochet. Two. And 1. At the end of this row you'll have 84 stitches. 2. 1. 2. 1. Just continue that pattern all the way down. I would suggest checking occasionally to make sure that you are following the correct pattern. I know when sometimes it gets a little, when you're doing the same thing over and over again, you can lose track if you start to daydream. So just check it, because otherwise you'll be off for row 3. 2. And you'll notice that it's starting to curve more. Oops, made a mistake right there. I'm going to fix this at 2, 1. This should have been 2. So it's important to check or we'll be off for row 3. 2, 1. 2. 1. All right, so after row 2, you should have 84 stitches. Go ahead and count them to make sure that you're on track, okay? 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58, 60, 62, 64, 66, 68, 70, 72, 74, 76, 78, 80, 82, 84. Perfect. Okay. So you can see now your work is really starting to curve. This is going to be the inside of your collar. Now don't worry if it looks too big, we will be making that a little bit smaller at the end. So now for row 3, you are going to, well actually before you chain 2, go ahead and grab 4 locking stitch markers. If those get too loud, I won't use them, but I'll show you what I do normally. So go ahead and chain 2, and now for the, again, this is the 0-3 months pattern, but if you're following a different pattern and following along to this tutorial, just follow the number that it says in my written pattern for that particular size. So for 0-3 months, you're going to go ahead and double crochet in 13. And always double check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. It's much easier if you do the wrong number, wrong amount, to fix the problem as you go than to frog everything and go back and do it again. Okay, so double crochet 13. Now in this next stitch here, we are going to make a V-stitch. And a V-stitch is 1 double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet, all in the same stitch. So I'm going to do 1 double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet right there in that same stitch. Now, if you find it helpful, and I would suggest doing this if you're just starting out, place a stitch marker on that V-stitch there, okay? All right, and now you're going to double crochet 14. Okay. Now, so that should be 14, but I'm going to double check it. Now, when you go back to count, remember, those 2 stitches right there are part of your V-stitch. So let me grab a pencil here. This double crochet, you can see that this is part of your V-stitch. That does not count as one of the 14 double crochet. This is the first one here, okay? So ignore that V-stitch and then count to make sure you made 14. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Perfect. Now again, in the next stitch, you're going to make another V-stitch. So you're going to double crochet once, chain 1, and make another double crochet all in that same stitch, okay? And once again, place a locking stitch marker around that stitch. And now you are going to double crochet in 26. Okay, so this is the first here. After this round, I'll take those stitch markers off, or excuse me, after this row, because they do get noisy banging against the table. Okay, yeah, I need to do a few more here. Okay, so you're double crocheting 26. Okay, so let me count to see how many I have so far. And remember, that stitch does not count. That's part of your V stitch. Okay, so ignore that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So I have 23. So 24. 25, 5, 26. Okay, and now my next stitch, I'm going to make another V-stitch. So you're going to double crochet once, chain 1, and make another double crochet, all in that same stitch. And grab another stitch marker and place it around. Okay, now you're going to double crochet 14. Okay, count those, and again, that is your V-stitch. This first stitch here does not count, so you ignore the V-stitch. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, perfect. In your next stitch, you're going to make another V-stitch, and I'll show you in a moment what the V-stitches are for. So double crochet once, chain 1, double crochet again. Place a stitch marker in that V-stitch. Now you should have 13 left, so let's count them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Perfect, so just double crochet in those last 13 stitches. Again, I'm going to take those stitch markers off after this row, so just bear with me with the noise for a moment. Okay. All right, so now here's what's going to happen. We're going to continue crocheting each row back and forth for 8 rows, and what will happen is this will begin to grow, and eventually we will fold it in half like this, and we will attach these two parts together here, and this will be your armhole, and it'll be of course much larger because we're going to continue double crocheting. But basically this is going to be the back of the cardigan. These will be the armholes, and then these will be the front 2 pieces. Okay, so these front 2 pieces are going to equal this in size, and these, of course, the armholes will also equal each other. Okay, all right, so at the end of row 3 you will have 88 stitches. Now we're going to begin row 4. So turn your work, chain 2, and double crochet in 14. And I'm actually going to remove these stitch markers because they're so noisy. Okay. So you are double crocheting in 14. Okay. This right here was your V-stitch from the last round. Okay, make sure you can see this. Okay, this was your V-stitch. This was your double crochet, chain one, double crochet, okay? Your 14th double crochet will go in the first double crochet of the V-stitch from the previous round. You are now going to make another V-stitch around that chain. So you're not making your V-stitches into any of the double crochets after row 3. You are making them into the chain 1, or into that chain, around that chain from the previous row. And because of that, each round is now going to increase by 8 stitches. So at the end of row 4, you will have 96 stitches. And then after we do row 5, you will have 104 stitches, because we're not, because we are essentially making another stitch here. So that chain space is where we're making our V-stitches. So we're not using any of the stitches to make the V-stitch. We're just using that chain space. So those two that are used, that are, those 2 double crochet that you make for each V-stitch, those will end up being 2, 4, 6, 8 extra stitches around. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So now go ahead and after you double crochet 14, make a V-stitch into that V-stitch from the previous round. So you'll make a double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet. And now be very careful. Your first double crochet now is going to go right there into this double crochet. So you're double crocheting now in the second double crochet of the V-stitch from the previous row. Okay, so make sure you don't skip over that. Okay, so now you are going to double crochet 16, and your first one goes right there into that double crochet of the V-stitch from the previous round, okay, or row. Okay, so you can see the 2 V-stitches now. Okay, all right, so 1, 2, 3. Okay, and you're double crocheting 16. Okay, so once you reach that next V-stitch, that's a good indicator that you need to stop. All right, so go ahead and count and make sure that you made 16. And again, this is part of my new V-stitch, so this double crochet does not count. So ignore the V-stitch and then count your double crochets. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, you see that V-stitch there? So I've already double crocheted in the first double crochet from the previous row. Now I'm going to make another V-stitch into that V-stitch. So double crochet once, chain 1, double crochet again into that same space. Okay, now you are going to double crochet 28. Be very careful that your first double crochet goes into that double crochet of the V-stitch from the previous row. Okay. We've reached the next V-stitch here, so I'm going to double crochet in that first double crochet. And then I'm going to count my stitches. It should be 28. Again, I'm skipping that V-stitch. Those double crochets don't count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. Go ahead and make a V-stitch into the V-stitch from the previous row. So you're going to double crochet, chain 1, double crochet again. And now you are going to double crochet 16. Okay, first one goes there. 1, okay, 16. I'm going to double crochet now in that first double crochet of the V-stitch from the previous row, and I'm going to count my stitches. So remember, ignore the V-stitch double crochets. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Perfect. Go ahead and make another V-stitch into that V-stitch from the previous row. So you're going to double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, and now you are going to double crochet in 14. Go ahead and count them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So just double crochet in those remaining stitches. At the end of row 4, you will have 96 stitches.